Okay, Ruben, we're in week 4 now, and I've got your first 3 weeks logs here. And what I'm going to do is going to go through all of the data that I've been given. I must admit, it's looking good at the moment. The first 3 weeks, I'm going to go through each of these things. First of all, let's start with your distance you're running. You started off running, as I told you to, every day, and you've stuck to that, which is great. In the first week, you started running an average of about 3K a day, which is really, really great. In the early days, if you're a beginner runner, what you must do is keep it small baby steps. But the other thing what we need to do is to try and get your body used to running every day, which is what you've been doing, which is great. If we go into the second week, you increase the mileage, so you were doing about 4K a day, and that's really good, but you did it every day, which is really good. You were increasing and getting your body to actually get used to running. And you, again, in the third week, you've done it again, you've increased it. I prefer your progression from week 2 to week 3 in terms of mileage. What every good beginner runner should do is increase their mileage only by 10% per week. So in other words, if you start running 20k in week 1, you should only increase it by 2k into week 2 to 22k to give your body time to adjust to the strains and stresses it's put on it. Now in week 1, what you did about 22k. You upped that to 32k in week 2. A little bit too much progression, almost 50%. You may have got away with it, but that's how people do get injuries. You then went from 32k to about 34k, 35k around that. That's great. That's perfect progression for what you should do. Okay, so let's have a look at your pace now. Now you started off, when you did your 5k time trial, we worked out you were running at 8 minutes per kilometre. Not so good. Tack bagos. Now, but what's happened now is that you're actually starting to increase that pace. So you're running now sometimes, really average about 6:30 minutes per kilometre, which is fantastic. That's really, really good. And I'm really, really pleased with that sort of pace. And I'd really like you to try and see if you can stick to that 6:30 minutes per kilometre for these 5 and 6 kilometre pace. That's really good. And that's the great thing about training, is that the whole lifestyle process about it. A few other things. Amount of sleep. You're not getting enough sleep. 8 hours a day, really. You're doing 5s and 6s. And really 8 is because it's about recovery. Especially as you go higher in your mileage, you really need to think about recovery. But the 2 last things, you're losing weight, and apparently 6 kilos?
6 kilos in just about 3-4 weeks.
Now don't forget, 7,000 calories per kilo. So if you've lost 6 kilos, you've somehow lost 42,000 calories over the course of 6 weeks. And your heart rate, your resting heart rate, has gone down from 64 to 59, and that's a really good indicator of fitness. Okay. So in all, I'm really, really pleased with the progress.
No, I actually do feel a lot better. Even when I run as well, I used to struggle to breathe, and I'll be thinking, oh my gosh, I can't finish this. Now it's a little easier. I can just go around and breathe normally. When I finish the run, I'll still be I can still talk. Before this, I'll be catching my breath. Yeah.
And that's in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It is amazing, isn't it, how many little changes happen in 4 weeks?
Yeah.
So yeah, so imagine what's going to happen in 20 weeks' time. Okay, Jin, I've got your training log for the first 7 weeks here. You know, after you went to Melbourne for that week, and so you were always going to be a little bit behind Ruben with terms of training, and that holds true.
Yes.
You had a good week in week 6. I must admit, you ran every day, and that getting into the routine is one of the most important things you can do. And the pace is quite stable. Yeah, you're there about that 7 minute per kilometre pace. That's okay. This week or last week, you had a big shoot. I do understand that. My concern was you didn't get that long run in on the Sunday.
Yeah, I didn't.
And that's the key thing. The most important run of the week is the long run. okay, when you're training for the marathon. We really need to try and make sure, because we're into week 7 now, that you get in 70 minutes and trying to speed up towards the end. Yeah, I've always said the plan is always a guide. Your lifestyle, yeah, it's sometimes you just can't go for a run. If you're doing a 12, 18 hour shoot, you can't. There's no way you want to run. So I'm not saying that, but try and get that long run in.
Right.
How you feel, okay, you're getting to feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
I remember the days when you were feeling, oh, awful all the time, but it's getting better. Okay, so this next 3 weeks, 8, 9, and 10, they're going to be a crucial 3 weeks. So I really want you, at best, to really try and cover most of the plan, if you can. Okay? We're seeing you on Thursday for something called pyramid fartlek. That's not a rude word. I'll explain that to you at the clinic. But these are the 3 most important things. Try and get the 70 minutes and 80 minutes for the next 3 Sundays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the, if you don't do anything else, they're the 3 that are most important, all right? Because we're getting now almost to halfway in the training.
Right.
Okay? Hold that, that's it. That's the position you should be in. Now drop that, that's it. 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 50, yeah. Oh.